Okay, we're recording again. So, um,
Okay,
yeah,
so I just wanted to say that Bracha said, I don't know if you heard this, but as 2020 was this very important year to start this big change, 2025 is going to be something like that. Did you hear that?
I heard that like 2024, like this chunk of time to 2024 is particular to then launch us into what comes next. Like, the talk of like 2020 was a dismantling, and now we're still in a state of, these are my words, but a state of growth, but getting like learning and getting more clarity and figuring, like navigating, so that we can get, because everything's now crumbling, right? And now we're in the stage of, okay, everything's crumbling. So
Yeah.
now we got to navigate that. And then after 2024, things are going to be very different, and there will be like another shift, and all this continues until 2044, I heard. I'm like, oh my God. This is, what a time to be alive.
One opportunity in many lifetimes.
Exactly. Many lifetimes in one.
So, do you remember? I usually tell Alex that this will be my last life. I don't want to come again.
Yeah.
But now that I am in this great period of time where changes are happening, I'm like, okay, I'm going to die and I'm not going to see what happens next. All this effort. I'm like, I need to come back. And so I'm just hoping that I will come back and I will see this wonderful world already made for me because we
Mhm.
already are working on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Hmm.
So, yeah, I will have at least one more life.
At least one more. Okay, that works. We'll be able to find each other again.
Oh, you're coming too?
Probably back for a while. Not necessarily by choice, but, well, I guess it's choice in the end, right? If we're clinging to something, to want to come back for it, to not leave it,
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Okay, and I so listen to this. I will get it. Because it gave me shivers. I
Mm.
need to find it though. Um, this was a channeling that Pamela Arlen
Mm.
did with Dolores Cannon. Okay,
Okay.
and so Pamela just wrote everything down, and so that we can read it.
Mm.
Do you want to bear with me because like 4 paragraphs?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so this message was done January 1st, 2021 from Dolores. So, Earth is shifting yet again. It's nothing new to be told of another change. You expect it by now. If you're going to go with the change, you'll need to do quite the opposite of what you've done in 2020. Your vibrations will need to change along with Earth's changes. What I've observed about humanity in 2020 is a hanging on or a clinging on old ways, right? We want to go back to the old ways and be
Mm-hmm.
normal.
Yeah.
In order for you as a species to change along with Earth, you can't be afraid of this change. You're either ready to go on for of the ways your lives weren't working for you, or you're not. There is no middle ground in this shift of 2021. Ready or not, here New Earth is again for you to accept or not. This hasn't been an overnight change, I know. This has happened gradually. Since 2003, your frequencies in both the body and mind have been changing. The changes in the body are getting even harder to bear. It's not easy to bear because it's not meant to be. If it were easy, don't you think you'd just stay the same? You stay right there in the same old frequencies that you felt were working with for you. 2021 doesn't provide my choice in that. If you stay the same, it will affect you in ways that mean you don't spiritually or emotionally evolve. It's getting harder than ever for Earth to remain in the third dimensional ways of thinking, working, eating, and living. I used to tell them, turn it down. So she's talking to Pamela. If you get uncomfortable, but now I'm going to tell you to try to remain calm and know that you need to handle it. If you can't adjust, you're out of here.
Mm.
If you can't adjust, you leave. That's not so bad of an opt out, but if you don't want to leave, your body change with the frequencies. Trust that you can handle it. Eat lighter, think lighter, live lighter. Don't bog yourself down with heavy eating, heavy thinking patterns, heavy personalities surrounding you, heavy television content, a heavy boss or heavy workload. All of that will need to shift. Eat more smoothies, juices, and water. Let your body upgrade to less interest in solid foods and more interest in water, sound, and light. Um, it should say also more air, right? Because we need to breathe more.
Mm-hmm.
Pay mind to the frequencies of entertainment from movies, media, the news, etc. Garbage in, garbage out. New Earth isn't a mudslinging contest. Pay attention to your sleeping, waking cycles and make sure they work for you. 2021 will be a year when all could stand to take a deeper look at what is working and what isn't for you. Expect change and a lot of it. But also take note that if you change what isn't working in your thoughts, your body, and in your life, you will become more resilient in the changes coming in your world this year. How about that?
How about that? She said.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So for the people that don't know, Dolores Cannon was working with quantum energy, and she did a lot of regressions and past life work, and she has passed. So she's communicating through a channeler, Pamela Ireland. Yeah.
And when did Dolores pass?
I'm not sure, but it's not long ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
And
Obviously, she didn't want to be here for all peace.
well, I heard that a lot of teachers are leaving.
Oh, really?
Like I don't know the source that I was told, but I was told by someone that they've been hearing that the teachers are leaving. And for me, that makes sense because I think the teachers have taught us all we need. And now we're needing to actually take those teachings and make them real to our present life because so much has changed so fast that those teachings don't necessarily fit our reality anymore. Like they do. And so we need to translate them into the current world and like shift it. Like we need to take those teachings and actually up level those teachings. So a lot of the teachers are leaving. But a lot are aging and actually dying.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah, like Ram Dass, right?
Mhm.
And Wayne Dyer.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
Louise Hay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely happening. So
Yeah, so one of my goals for 2021 is what they suggested there. So drink more water, breathe, eat lighter, more salads, maybe nuts.
you already eat quite well. Mariela is a vegetarian. Of course, would prefer to be vegan, but it's a little bit harder. But
Yeah, it is harder.
Yeah.
But it depends on what your thought patterns are, right? If you believe that your food is light, probably gets lighter anyways.
Mm.
So
Well,
just bless your food before you eat it.
and I wonder, because it sounds like the idea is creating the feeling of lightness, and a lot of us eat to be really full. I do that a lot. And I recognize, like, for lunch today, I had some pizza.
Ah,
Pizza and salad. I just love.
oh, it's so good, right?
But it feels heavy in my body, and it takes me a long time to really digest it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like that, I don't actually think is good for my being. Like, I think the pizza is like fine. It's not like I eat it every day. But like the heaviness in my body doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It makes me a little more like,
Mm-hmm.
so I can see why.
Like your body is heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then energy can't flow through our body the same way when we're
Yeah.
having those parts of heaviness.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah. And I was listening to a podcast today in the morning. I love podcasts. So it was someone that was talking about setting goals for the new year. And he was saying that usually people set their goals at the beginning of the year. And then by January 15th, goals are broken already.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel you and I have set goals that continue to be worked on, right? Along the
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. And then we allow it to change, right? Like, because we're always kind of moving forward. And eventually, what we thought we needed or wanted also kind of changes a little bit, or, you know.
Yeah, it evolves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so for people that are new to our channel, Alex organizes or facilitates a women's circle. And so we meet usually during a new moon or a full moon or a special event like solstice or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we set goals for every month.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to according whatever is happening in our lives at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to have the opportunity to like reflect regularly and be like, am I
Yeah.
where I want to be? Am I needing something? Do I need to like bring something in, and or do I need to let something go? Um, so yeah. Yeah, I haven't done any official like New Year's intention looking. Um, but because I feel like I have this month to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I will be kind of looking forward a bit more. But I think there will be a level of kind of what she said, like this idea of like paying attention to what I'm taking in and what I'm putting out, like
Mm.
really being aware. And for me, that's usually like information coming in and information going out,
Yeah.
because that really affects my mood and my energy, like just my mental well-being. And um, I, yeah, I've come to a good place with my sleep cycle, even though like I was up for 3 hours in the middle of the night. I wasn't angry about it. I wasn't
That's
stressed
great.
about it. I'm just like, no. Okay.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. Exactly. Just try and take care of yourself. And yeah, but a big piece is exactly like listening, like really listening for
Mm.
me. Um, yeah, I feel like I'm tired of obligations. like feeling obligated.
Yeah.
And I understand like we all have responsibilities and things like that, but I want to do things that make me feel good, right? Like I want, and because usually if it feels good, it's not like outrageous. Like I'm not like, oh, I want to go party and, even though that is fun, but I do things that are like, they feel good to my being. And how can I be wrong going that way? Right?
You can't.
Exactly.
And in our last circle, we were talking about it's not deserving, but it's what's that word? We're worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Being worthy of what you have, right? I want something and I need something. And be sure that there's nothing bad about wishing for whatever you want or need.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's your inner child or your inner self talking,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not judging our own selves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what? Very interesting thing too that Brecca said that I just remembered.
Oh yeah.
It's Brecca or Brecca? Brecca.
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. So, and probably you heard this already, but this new moon is not just the new moon for this month. It's not just the new moon for this year. It's the new moon for the whole Aquarius era.
Ah, I didn't hear that, but I've heard, and that's why I've been hearing people talk about till 44. I think there's certain planets highly in Aquarius until 44 or something. Anyway, but the whole an era is like I don't know how long an era. I guess there is no length to an era, but it's usually like around 2,000 years or something like that. Is that right?
I don't know. It depends on which planet, right?
This is
Because some of the planets are closer to the sun and some are like farther away.
true.
And you see how all the planets are behind me because they are farther away and the closest to the sun are in front of me.
I am the sun for you. Oh.
No, I'm just looking that way to the sun.
I actually am too. The sun is like, yeah, just off because I wanted the sun on my face.
Yeah, I don't know where actually the sun is. Yeah, so it's very important to set the intentions for now this month and for this year, but also for humanity for the whole time that is Neptune, right? That is here for Aquarius or
No,
Uranus,
Jupiter and
Uranus.
Saturn, but there is stuff going, like the outer planets are creating all this major
Yes,
long-term change.
it's Uranus.
Yeah, Uranus is doing things, Pluto is doing things, and Saturn and Jupiter.
Because what's the planet for Aquarius?
Oh, because Capricorn is Saturn, and the next one out, I think, is, you're right, Uranus, and then Neptune. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't listened to her yet. I'm excited now.
Yeah.
I haven't started doing my prepping for Circle yet. But it sounds like you know a lot, and maybe you might want to speak to things.
We will see one day.
Okay, well, let's pull some cards then. Let's see what.
Okay.
Now that you said all that, I'm like, which card deck do I want to use?
I'm going to pull a blessing for the month, a blessing for the year, and a blessing for the era.
Ooh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I
Imagine if we come back to our next life and we see our videos.
That would be really cool. Yeah, once things are online, they're really, unless, this type of thing falls apart if we no longer have the internet for some reason, which isn't going to happen because we're becoming more technologically advanced.
Yeah.
It's going to be forever. Okay. I will pull for sure 2 for this month and this year. I'm really loving, I really want to pull from Work Your Light. I find, well, I love the cards, but I find sometimes it doesn't always fit 100%. Maybe for long-term projections.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm still not sure what my second deck would be. Okay. Ooh, yeah, I know. Do you have your 3 cards? Yeah. And I'm going to pull a goddess card for Aquarius. Is that what it is?
Yeah. For the era of Aquarius.
Just because, oh my God, a card fell out. I don't know. Should I look at it?
Yes.
Oh,
what are you waiting for?
Oh.
It's a good one. Do you like it?
Well, it's really, I think it's nice. I have actually never seen it before. So that's kind of cool. So,
new era, new card.
Yeah. So my first card I pulled for the month is Trust Your Path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do?
That's really a good question for goal setting. If there was nothing that ties you to anything, no boundaries, no patterns, no nothing, what would you do? Oh my gosh, it's so refreshing.
I think it's scary. The possibilities are so big, and then what would that mean? Slash terrifying.
I always think that I would fly, I would go in the ocean, no need to breathe, all those things that I for sure can't, but I can. So confusing.
What was your first one?
My first card? A blessing on a home. So for the month, I feel it has something to do with the earth, right? Our home is the earth. And for this month, because I thought this type of card would come for the long term, and it came only for the very short term, a month compared to an era. And so it feels more like a blessing on a home to work on what you can do in the present moment. One channeler once told me, and he was joking with me, because there is sometimes I go to the First Spiritualist Church here in Calgary, and there's a channeler that channels blue sky, which is the spirit. And he said something like, you're never going to stop looking or try to look what comes ahead, right? Ha ha ha. And it was just a way to tell me, like, stop looking or trying to look into the future. Just
Ah,
stay here. And so this card feels like that.
mhm. Yeah.
And
Well,
for month, I also took a tarot card, and it the release card, which is usually death.
mhm.
And so, of course, everything is dying because we're rebirthing. And so it makes
Mm.
total sense. Time to move on.
Yes. When I think of home, like we have our home, like our
Look.
our center. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very birthy. Like it's very earthy.
Yeah. It's Mother Earth. And in her womb is everything in nature.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty.
Our home, like we have so many homes. Like we have our our um, our home, like our center is like a home, a place where we
Mm.
come
Mhm.
and be like whole or grounded, whatever words you want to use, right? That centering is home, right? A beacon of home.
Yeah.
And we have our body that we are embodying is our home for this lifetime. And we have the home that's literally around us that keeps us kind of safe. And then we have our, like, it just grows and grows, like, you know, our city, our country, and then Earth, right? And then maybe the universe. But like we have so many homes. And so, um, yeah, I like that. Blessing on our homes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And release. So release whatever you thought was a home.
And to
Reinvent.
blend that with trust your path, like when we're really centered and grounded in
Uh-huh.
ourselves, right? Like when we're in that state,
Yeah.
it's easier to trust ourselves, and we have to let go of stuff to be able to allow ourselves to trust. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
beliefs and patterns that kind of hold us stuck.
Yeah.
Hmm. And what's nice is, like at the full moon we just had, it was a full moon in Cancer, which is very that homey energy. And
That's right.
this time of year, we should be going through our home and clearing stuff out to let go of those stagnant energies that are like, you know,
Yeah.
I will be doing some cleaning.
I should too.
There's actually, I don't even know who it's through. I'll send it to you. But there's someone, it starts on the 7th, so it's Thursday. And she walks you through decluttering each space in your house. So it's a 7-day thing. And so it goes through 7 areas of your place to declutter.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm going to embark
Okay.
on that journey.
Please share.
Mm-hmm. Now, the second card I pulled made me sad, slash, just in the awareness of the times we're in. I got isolation.
Oh, like we don't know already. But it's about this year, right? So it's just telling us be ready. We're not going to socialize yet.
Oh, yes. And so, um, like, isolation can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing, right? Like, when we feel isolated, um, it's because we don't feel connected, like connected to ourselves, connected to the outside world. And so we're needing to really shift what togetherness and isolation mean, I think. But so many people think because they're in their space alone that they're isolated instead of exploring the other avenues to get connected. I know
Yeah.
that's not necessarily our biggest challenge, like, me and you, but I know a lot of people are quite isolated. Um,
Yeah.
And they're afraid, rightfully so, for many reasons. And so finding a way to not feel isolated, because isolation can be great, like when you're by yourself and kind of connecting within and doing what you love on your own. And it can get lonely though.
Yeah. Especially when it's forced, when you don't choose to be alone.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But we're
Yeah.
not alone. We're never
No.
alone.
No, we're not.
Mm-hmm. So I, like, part of me wonders if some of this isolation and stuff is teaching us just a new way to understand our
Yeah.
aloneness and our community or connection to others. Like it's
That
making.
would be really interesting, because you're talking about this year. It's
Mhm,
something that is not yet, or it's in the way of happening.
mhm,
And so for me, for example, I'm just thinking, I have been working for the whole time during COVID. I have the opportunity to at least go to the office and be with 2 or 3 people that are allowed in the floor, but I get to interact with those 2 or 3 people because we make turns and try to work at home and stuff. But for me, I haven't felt isolated. And so for this year, if this card is like has a strong meaning,
mhm,
I I will let you know how it evolves for me.
mhm. Yeah.
Like maybe working more independently.
So I'm just reading this. Hmm. It talks actually about um, feeling our feelings, like letting go of feelings of shame. Like, when we like isolate ourselves, probably because,
Mm,
and
when we
so,
put the walls.
yeah. And so when we share these things, these emotions, it actually removes the
Mm,
isolation. That's,
interesting.
so feeling the feels and not kind of holding things back.
And what comes into my head as well is, how Brene Brown is talking about vulnerability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe working on that as well, just being more authentic and letting people know who we really are and not be afraid of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
The real us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not choosing to isolate ourselves.
Or feel guilty or blame or
Mm-hmm.
hide in the sadness.
Mm-hmm. So I like that. Feel the feels. That's what I'm calling it.
Feel the feels.
Yeah, and share it. Like, yeah, this idea that
Yeah.
we're alone, like, we're all in this together. And it's like, we really,
Yeah. But
and
also, go ahead.
I just feel like we're creating division where there doesn't need to be division. Like we are all just feeling, and we all have our own fears and worries and dreams and hopes. And
Yeah.
why can't we just support each other where we're each at without having
Mm-hmm.
to make it be something? And
Yeah.
because that isolates us. The moment we feel like we
Mm-hmm.
can't share or we're not valid, or, that really
Yeah.
isolates people. The division isolates people.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. It's going to be beautiful once we die, Alex.
We're here to create forever.
At the end of our era, the new era will come.
Mhm. Well, I can't wait to show
Be
you the
beautiful.
card. So what did you get for
That
the
was a dark joke.
year? What did you get for the year?
A blessing from your ancestors.
Ooh.
So I have this feeling, like I had two feelings when I saw this card. One, we're leaving the old beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, we're going back to the beginning
Mm-hmm.
when the feelings were pure, when probably there were not as much or no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I imagine this world at the very beginning, all beautiful, clean, pure.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to that, but at the same time, this year, it's getting rid of the old.
Mm-hmm.
And the other card that goes with it, the awakening.
Oh, awakening. Mm.
Yeah, it's upside down. So I think it's like the hangman with on the tarot deck.
Mm-hmm.
It says, look at things from a different perspective, which if we're changing from old to new, we're changing the perspective. A temporary standstill. So we will be staying in
Mm.
this confusion for a little while, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to be yourself, just what you said before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a really nice card. I agree with what you said about like going back to the ancestor piece, because I feel like we've actually stopped listening to the ancestors. Like we know better than them, so we're gonna not listen, right? But like they also, like if you think further back, right? Like the further back you go,
Yeah.
like you said, like they were always trying to build a better future for us, right? Like that's what every generation I think is trying to do, is like maybe this generation not as much, I don't know, but you know, it's like we're moving forward and creating things different and new, right? We just keep doing that. We're still doing that, but we all have the same kind of, we've always had the same ambition. Um, so I think it's time to like heal the ancestral stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like some of the darker stuff, because they had to do, there's lots of crazy stuff that went on back then as well.
Yeah.
And we know better and different now. So we can heal that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can heal it, be thankful for it, like be thankful for what they gave us and left us or brought us to,
Yeah.
and all that they did, but then also heal that stuff. Like like I said, we're breaking down the old stuff and we're needing to let it go, because it literally, the heaviness that came with it just doesn't serve us anymore.
Yeah.
It created a system that doesn't work anymore. And maybe it was working to have a level of like stability and growth, but we're past that. Like we're so evolved past that, and we don't know how to quite break free. And I think that's what's happening, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
breaking free, but it's going to be very uncomfortable and confusing and
Yeah.
uncertain.
And the how do you call it, Alex? Earth, air, fire. The element of this era is air. So, and I
Mm-hmm.
was listening to a group of astrologers talk to each other about the air and all their ideas of what it means. And you know how air can form things and then destroy.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the earth was just like earth. It usually just stays there.
Mm.
And so they were saying that changes will be fast, and changes can happen also. Like one moment you saw something, and at the other, the sand is gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feels like we're needing to keep that space, that change. Like so many people are like, no, this is the way it has to be, or I have to believe this, and it's like it changes. It changes.
Yes, exactly.
Changes.
Air, 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 air. Like air, air, air.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a force. Like literally one of the biggest forces of nature is air. Right? And if we
Yeah.
don't have it, we die. So
Breathe in, breathe out.
mhm. Life force is air.
Yeah, be friends with it.
So my card for the era that I pulled is Demara, and it's guiding children.
Interesting.
So it says, you are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now.
Yeah, like you should go back to children.
So what I think is amazing, since I pulled it for the era, is like, if we are literally taking the children into consideration, if we are thinking, what do we want for the children and what's best for the children, like that would be a whole different thing. Like, do we want to leave them? What kind of earth do we want to leave them? Do we want them to have free thinking and, free speech? Like, what do we actually want? And that we,
And we will be children in our next life. So what do we want for ourselves when we come back?
True. Yeah. And I just think of children as so innocent, but they're the more awakened of us. And we lose like our playfulness. We lose so many things due to the harshness of our society, which I feel is trying to be broken down. Like, structures do create safety, but structures also create all kinds of pain. And we can have structure and still have, a lot of expansion. And so, yeah, so I think when I think of children, I just think of this innocence. Like, and it's this time of exploration and curiosity and playfulness, discovery, like, that newness, that, excitement of the world. So when I saw that, I was like, ooh, yeah, I could see that for a whole new era.
And walk around without worries. Can you imagine that? Like when you're a child, if you are taken care of, you have no worries. Just sometimes you want to go to sleep, sometimes you need to eat, and need a hug. You know what card I got?
Which one?
Guess.
Oh gosh. Yeah, beginning?
No.
No. Oh, okay. What? That's messed up.
It's a baby unicorn.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah. So it's the magic inside of us too, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, totally. That is so cool.
Isn't that cute? And when I picked this card, because it came with this one, the Emperor.
Oh.
It's a male feeling. So I'm like, if we're getting rid of the masculine, or not getting rid of it, but have a balance, right?
Yeah.
I was confused, but then I read what it means in the bottom, and it says organization and logic, structure and discipline, and leadership. So it has something to, for me, maybe you can elaborate too, but letting the children rule, or the way that children would rule.
Yeah.
But also like those children, because I am thinking not all the children are happy, or I'm not sure how to explain, but the children as a symbol, as an essence, are the little ones, like you said, that um, they play, they are innocent, they explore. And so, yeah, just going back to the beginning, I believe. We're going back to the beginning.
When you showed me the Emperor card, I didn't think masculine, even though I know like the Emperor versus like Queen or something like that. But I exactly thought what you were talking about, like children, like, so this is guiding children, right? And if you think of how we're conscious some younger people are, right? And I said this many times that I feel like our generation, or there's a generation right now that we're the middle people, and we're bridging the old ways with the new ways. And so we're helping being the bridge to the younger people, because the younger people, I mean, they have access to so much information that they've had to assimilate. They grew up very differently than a lot of us. But we can completely understand and value and respect where they are. Whereas the older generation doesn't always see the gifts that they've brought and seem to think that our generation screwed everything up when it wasn't us.
Well, we did our part.
Yeah. Oh, yes, we've done our part. But
we enjoyed so many things.
But we currently are not the ones in position of power. Our age group is not the position of power yet.
That's true.
Right? And even then, we're coming from a broken system. So it's the younger people that are going to be taking over. It's the younger people that are going to have some of the insights that we should be listening to and hearing them, because their perspective is so much broader and conscientious than the adults. So I feel like whatever, there's we're a part of the middle people, helping the younger bring their dreams into fruition, because they're going to eventually rule, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they rule from a place of all those really positive attributes of healthy children,
Yeah, at the same time, it comes to my mind, this is the era card. And so probably children will be taken care of in consideration more than before, and like thought of. And so thinking of the next generations being more aware of what they do and what they leave to the next generation than before.
Yeah, I wonder if this is, sci-fi, the world stuff. But if something starts shifting in a really challenging way, we might be needing to protect the children even more. Like, I don't mean protect them in restrict them, but like honor them in a different way.
Yeah.
Because of the way things are changing. Because an era is a very long time.
Yeah, we're not sure how long, but for sure it's a couple or a little bit more.
Definitely a few hundred years.
Centuries. Yes.
There's going to be generations.
Yeah.
We'll be in this era. So imagine in generations from now. It'll be so different. Yeah.
Let me read this to you. It's about a blessing on the children. Okay, so it just warms my heart. My heart. Not heart. Heart. So I'm just thinking also like Mother Earth, right? And its children. Only you, as the mother or father, know the tender moments you have seen. The first cry, the gaze of wonder, the curiosity of the newborn in love with the world, or howling of the teeth of hunger within the belly. May the children of the world be most blessed as they move from babe to child. So that's us moving from babe to child. Learning the gifts of speech and movement, of thought and awareness, as they move from being entwined with mother to becoming their own selves. May they be guided with understanding and be taught resilience and strength of character. May their falls be lessons from which they learn to rise up, steady themselves, and continue. May they learn that kindness to themselves need not forego kindness to others. May they be taught the gift of self-love, self-awareness, and may every step they take be watched over, yet be without impediment. Let the innate goodness within come to the fore, and may they learn to be their best selves, even amidst the harshness of the world. Isn't that lovely? I'm just going to cry. Let every false step be followed with a refining of the way, and may the blessings of the love you have borne them be reborn through their love and contributions to the world. May their nature be allowed to come forth, and when they change the world in ways their elders failed to understand, may they have the strength to embrace them and bring the old ones into the next world they are creating.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's what we need to bring. And what's interesting is we're talking about if this month or 2 months is the setting the stage for, this month, this year, this era, then all these cards also speak to the present, right? Because if that's the direction we're going, right, we want to create that for the children. Those are the people, that's what we want. We want humans to so much like you just described, right? We want it for the children and for them to lead with such beauty. But to get there, we have to start here. And
there's only present anyways.
this is true. Yeah. Because there really is. When we look too far ahead, we get lost in what isn't. Mm-hmm. That was, I like those children cards.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Any last words before we?
No. I just want to bless this year. It's going to be an amazing one.
It's going to be full. It's going to be full.
Yeah. And we will be doing the video, every month, right?
Yeah.
So we will see you guys in February.
Yeah. We will see you all soon. And until then, trust in yourself, ground yourself, lighten yourself.
Yeah, you can do it. We can do it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.